perspective, no, it's not 90% implemented. But, as a team, we went through the discussion of
From an
structure and
implementation
architecture.
viewpoint, what you may want to assign, Ji?
What I'm assigning them is, based on the...
For the student-made productionization task as a goal, according to you, what may be the perception of this completion of productionization of the student-made?
It's somewhere close to 60%, 70%.
Okay, so 70 was what it was. All right.
But what we have progressed towards, Vijayji, is not actually the implementation. We have largely progressed towards, our original thread where we refined and finalized the structure. And I'm kind of like helping the team to perform a sample productionization task by, taking up a structure and instructing Bolt to implement that structure and, testing it out in their local environment and, raising that as a pull request. So now the work that is essentially there is more like, picking up a piece from what our document is and doing that cycle. So we will be doing that cycle multiple times and the team will be getting better at it. And that's how productionizing will be happening.
Super. What you may want to target, Ji, by end of the next demo session, do you feel 100% is possible, or what is the likely percentage?
No, that's not something we will be targeting. Actually, Vijayji, what we are targeting really right now is still, ensuring that our document is reflecting the actual production structure. So, for example, the last discussion that we had, which was, let's have quizzes even in learn section. Let's have, fluid data structure that can support any kind of, interaction and journey. So then what we are targeting is putting that in the document and ensuring that the team understands it well. And as a part of that, we will go ahead and probably also modify the TeachMate prototype to support that data structure. So what we are actually working on is finalizing the data structure and, architecture of final student made. The actual work is just assigning that to Bolt.
Got it. Would it be appropriate to identify this goal as identify learning experience-based changes to student made?
Yeah, exactly. That is a priority goal. That's what we are working.
Okay. So now this one, again, I know
this is 90% done. This is a very close one.
Okay, so this is 90% done. And as we go through the learning experiences, we will have to keep refining. So I wouldn't probably yet call this as 100%, right?
Yeah.
So, which is perfectly okay. So target is, I'll simply call it as ongoing for next few weeks. Because tomorrow, we have the first learning experience session with Darshanji. I'm hoping that, he'll be there and also he'll produce some content for you. I've not seen his response yet. So maybe after this discussion, I'll also call him so that, when all of you are there, we can review whether he's going to be there or not tomorrow. So the idea, Dhavalji, is starting from tomorrow. So tomorrow session and maybe the next 1 or 2 more sessions are going to be purely between the content team, that is nothing but the teaching team, and tech team, that is mainly Dhavalji's team. So that we can refine the learning experience. Like you rightly pointed at how it should flow, what should come after what. Only in the context of particular lessons, we can identify some of them. Once we do that, the idea was to get into a similar session with the mentors and some, say, children, actual children, say Diya Disha and Mahant, maybe, say, right? So that way, this becomes the overall learning experience tuning team. Yeah. First, if we tune it between the tech team and the content team, then we'll have enough of confidence to bring mentors. So does it make sense, whatever I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what as a goal for the next demo, that is the 3rd May, one is learning experience based, at least identifying all the changes. Then that is what we will have to continue to do. So this may not become 100%, right?
Yeah.
So this is also for now, then I'll call it out as ongoing.
Yeah, I think, I mean, that would be a better strategy, Vijay, that, we keep it as an ongoing thing, because at this point of time, we are refining. Yeah.
Okay. Then in terms of TeachMate G, what is your current perception percentage in terms of completion?
So productionization is not even beginning right now in TeachMate. TeachMate,
Okay.
to be honest, what is happening is it is more like, the refinement of prototype to support the, kind of learning experience that we want. And actually that, is being used as a source for productionizing the StudentMate. So the way I'm working right now is TeachMate, I would go ahead and modify the teach experience, lesson creation experience. And that gives us a lot of clarity on how the data structure should be for StudentMate. So whatever learning experience, discussions we are having, I'll go ahead and implement that in TeachMate. Let that be prototype, but still the data structure comes out nice enough so that I can use that in StudentMate.
So in terms of, let's say, if productionization is the goal, today, definitely it is not zero also. What would be your perception of, where it stands?
It is 30-40%.
Okay, all right. So let's pick 40. And it's also going to be ongoing for next few weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So if we have these, this is in a way already kind of captured there, so we don't have to have a separate line item.
But I would highly suggest that let this not be any sort of a blocker for actual testing around students.
No. See, that is why this one is, this is a learning experience based iterative process.
Correct.
Right. So the way I am seeing it, Dhavalji, starting from tomorrow night, there'll be, say, some couple of lessons, and you and Darshanji will go through that step by step, and you may identify some 3-4 items, and then there'll be identification of, okay, one we are going to meet next. So that is how I'm seeing this iteration happen over the next few weeks. Hopefully within the next 1 or 2 weeks, even the mentors would get involved. So there will be a lot more stability is what I'm expecting by, say, mid-May to 3rd week of May.
Okay.
Is that a reasonable outlook?
Yeah. Yes, that's fine. I mean, productionization of TeachMate, I mean, if we are looking for, these systems to work together nicely in order to, have mentors and teachers and content team and Darshanji and all, iterate quickly over testing, then I would say we should be focusing also on integration with backend.
That is where now Shravanji is going to take us into some topics.
Yeah, that's where I think CI/CD and integration with backend is where we would be wanting to focus. Productionization is also very much important,
Yeah.
But, that is something that can be probably, deprioritized or backburnered in favor of quickly integrating and putting things in
So
hands of the team. Yeah.
shall I say
Yeah.
okay, see something like say integrate
Yeah. Correct.
with backend.
Correct. Yeah. That would be
And
probably the thing that we will want to do.
modify based on LX
Yeah.
sessions, right?
Yeah.
So is this a better goal to focus on?
Yeah. That would be the right goal for this activity.
Okay. And this is true for student mate as well as teach mate, definitely.
Teach mate. Exactly. That's what we would be targeting then.
So in terms of purely this focus, not the productionization, but in terms of the so it currently,
Integration focus.
right, integration focus, it is the same to begin with right now. It's the same percentage, right?
No, student mate is way more advanced right now. From an integration perspective, it is probably, 85% ready for integration. I mean, integration is not done, obviously. So that is what we will need to do. But it's quite ready for integration. TeachMate is not ready for integration in that sense. TeachMate is at 50%.
Okay. So, okay, then, okay, let's say, can we fix some kind of a goal for integration?
Correct.
Is this
that's what would be the right goal. Yeah.
Okay, all right. And this one, is this appropriate, or should we?
Yeah. It's absolutely possible to integrate TeachMate as well.
Okay, so essentially what we are saying is by coming Saturday,
Mm.
we would have at least done some changes based on the learning experience sessions. Then we will be focusing on the integration with the backend and also modifications based on the learning experience sessions.
Okay, so the aim is that we want to provide end-to-end systems to Darshanji and the team, and they would test it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we can continue to productionize. For the time being, it's ongoing. Will not necessarily make great progress in these two.
Yeah.
Okay. So does anyone else have any questions on what's being discussed or any other viewpoints?
And one more thing is that the final testing is going to be, student testing is going to be after everything else, is it?
No, that's an ongoing thing. What I'm suggesting is tomorrow it will be between the tech team and content team. And let's say between the tech team and the content team, let's say by sometime next week, assume, you both feel that, yeah, it's good enough. Let's now bring in the mentors also and students also. So that's a call you need to make. So I don't think, we need to wait for some kind of a internally verified, completed, then only we'll go. No, nothing like that.
Got it.
But I don't think, we should also go at a stage where, you both yourselves may have been able to iron out some, gotchas, right? With those gotchas, if you go in front of mentors, it may kind of, reduce the confidence level. That is why I'm saying that if the teaching team and then the content, the tech team work together, then, some of the major things can be ironed out. Then, let's bring in the mentors and the students. Does it make sense?
Yeah, I would say, like, bringing in students would be highly recommended as early as possible, because I mean, where we are largely, needing improvement is how the content is generated. And we have not yet even tested out our ChatGPT, custom GPTs, how they generate content, and how the students use that. So I think, that would be, I mean, as soon as it is prioritized, the less surprise that would be at the end. Probably that's what we need to start doing as soon as possible.
Yeah, so that's why I've created that learning experience group, Dhavalji.
Yeah.
And definitely, I would recommend you to take charge of that whole experiment, because ultimately, it is you and your team which have to really bring all that learning experience into the tool. So if you feel the way it has been, let's say, suggested there, you want to change, please feel free. You can, tomorrow I organize it so that, it gets started, because I didn't want to wait with all your travel and everything. So, but, you can take charge from tomorrow, and you set the tone, what should be the next session, how it should be. All that I definitely would like it to be from you.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. Sure.
Yeah. But the thing is, Jay, within the next 2 weeks, it has to be given a lot of energy. You and the UI team have to keep that as the key focus, and then, make that happen. That's all that I would request.
No, but I mean, that's where I'm having a little bit of gap, Vijayji. Like, I'm not able to understand, like, UI as it is right now is, although there are more or less, minor things.
No. I want you to look at it slightly above UI. See, at the end of the day, that group is called Learning Experience Verification Team. So learning experience is not just UI, is not just content, is not just mentor, is not just student. These four, the overall, the so-called process, the tool, and the people, how they blend together is what learning experience is. So, are you able to see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So see, Vijayji, what I wanted to say is that here, for example, okay, we want to create a lesson using our custom GPT.
Yeah.
Okay, and for now, even custom GPTs are not integrated with TeachMate directly.
Correct.
So anyways, if they want to use TeachMate, they will have to generate content in custom GPT, paste it there.
Yeah.
And, that will actually, if it is integrated properly with that backend, it will be flowing into StudentMate. If it is not, it will not. But let's assume it is integrated and it flows into StudentMate.
Yeah.
Okay. So that might be one advantage of that situation. But even without that, right now, TeachMate can download the lesson as a JSON, which can be directly imported into StudentMate. And StudentMate starts rendering that. So I would say, our systems are ready to and capable enough to start experimenting immediately. Even when we are doing this integration is what my thought is. Like, I am okay to do the integration to support that as well, not an issue from my side. But, the systems are fully capable of doing that integration exercise as well.
Agreed, Ji. What I'm saying is, I'm not questioning it from the system readiness. What I'm prompting us all to look at is, see, at the end of the day, learning experience is not just a matter of the UI being there. It is the content being there. In what format the content is flowing. For example, what should be there in the slide 1? After that, should there be a set of questions? All of these together create the experience. Not only these two, content is there, tool is there, is not also going to create the final experience for the learner. It is, okay, so the learner may have some questions to the mentor. What may come to the mentor at that point in time? The mentor also has to be aware. So how should we craft that? Okay, so whenever we are generating a particular lesson, the content team also has to generate the mentor instructions. Are they being crafted at the right level? So this is an iterative exercise. And this is what has to begin. And this is what I'm calling as the learning experience verification. So from independently, if we observe, everything seems to be ready. But it is when blending it all together and not at a tech level. I'm not talking at all at a tech level. I am not at all worried about the tech integration. I'm not worried at all whether our APIs and our front end are talking to each other. That we know for sure it is something that just a matter of maybe 1 or 2 days of us sticking together and working together. But the main integration has to happen between the content team, then the UI team, and then these two teams with the mentor team. Because these three have to work together to know, okay, this is exactly how the content has to come. And this is how the mentor instructions have to come. This is what is creating a better overall learning experience for the student. This viewpoint has to come. That will lead to maybe say 1 or 2 changes in how Darshan is thinking about his content creation. How we may be thinking of our tool experience. How our mentors may be thinking of, oh, this is all we need to do versus, oh, this is how much we need to do. So this learning has to come to each of the team. Then only overall learning will be better for the student.
Okay. Yeah. I am okay for that, Vijayji.
So that experiment is what is beginning from tomorrow evening. The prompt is that Darshanji, please give us 1 or 2 lessons so that the tech team and then the Darshanji's team will go through this as if like students, and among us itself, already based on the previous Sunday's experience, there are some learnings. So and I know that you already have tuned it based on that. So tomorrow when we go through this, does it create a okay thumbs up kind of an experience to tech team and the content team? If the tech team and the content team feel good enough, then you can incorporate mentor. This is how I was thinking.
Yeah, my concern is reverse, Vijayji. What is happening is that we did not involve students much, and what we realized is that the way students are behaving is quite different from the way we are looking at the systems. And, it surpassed all of the other things. It kind of like transcended all of the other things in which students
if you
were.
feel that, Dhavalji, that tomorrow students need to be involved, that's what I'm saying. Please go for it. I just wanted to facilitate this because I wanted us to start looking at it from the learning experience viewpoint rather than each one of us looking at it from our individual silo viewpoint. So if you feel that including students right from tomorrow is going to be of value, then please recommend that, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I want you to participate in that learning experience group and mention that way. Maybe Ashwini ji can bring her children right for tomorrow's session itself.
Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, that's what will allow us to focus on the right things. My problem is that, my understanding is that we are focusing on all these things, but sometimes like the what we observed was like pedagogy and, the way content is created, the way content is organized. So what it felt was like, a lot of exercise is related to how content is generated rather than anything else. So, I mean, I'm all up for even further tuning these tools to, help in whatever way we can. But my gist is that this is probably 5% of the work versus that being 95% of the work. So,
okay, so tomorrow, what is the change you are okay? What is the change you want to bring, Ji? Tomorrow's, are you first of all aligned to these learning experience sessions?
I am okay, but I mean, my thing is that let's get some lessons. Let's just quickly put that together as JSON content in StudentMate, and either record a video of students interacting with it and present it to Darshanji, so that he can, even if he is bound for time, he can understand what's going on, or if he is himself available to observe the students how they are using it. then he understands what's going on, and probably we can have that discussion with him.
Sure. So then shall I call up tomorrow evening session, and do you want to do it this way, that you have some children, say Diya, Disha, or somebody going through and then shooting that video and sharing with him?
I'm all up for that.
No,
I mean,
no,
but
no. It's not about. See, right now, we did a last Sunday, right? And from that, we gathered some experiences. Now, the way it is occurring to me is that Darshanji has to observe this. And I just wanted that to happen as quickly as possible and with the least friction. If I say that, mentors also should be there, children also should be there, in my mind, I thought, okay, it will lead to unnecessary too much of coordination. So I just thought, okay, if Darshanji can create some lesson, and if it can be put, and if, let's say, the tech team and the Darshanji can come together and then at least start reviewing it, it may start yielding that discussion. If
but what will happen,
not going to be of value.
I understand. What is happening is that, for example, see, gravity lessons, right? Or the cooling lessons, right? That we added. None of us actually realized, because we are grown-ups. So we would interact with that lessons in a different way. Even mentors, they would not go ahead and watch 30 minutes of videos, provided they are videos. Or they would not go ahead and skip the content in a certain way. So I am okay for that to be reviewed, by tech team and content team. Let's just go ahead with whatever we have right now. But my suggestion is that, our this thing is like probably allowing the students to get involved as fast as possible. If the current
that is what I'm calling out, Dhavalji, again and again. What I'm saying is, this experiment, if it is led by you, because you have very clear expectation from this, so I'm asking whether you can take charge of that learning experience.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. I can help coordinate this way, in this way. Like, let teachers be, or Darshanji be generating the lessons through GPT. Put that in TeachMate. Quickly download a JSON. Quickly put that in StudentMate, and have them observe a student using that StudentMate. So that they get a complete idea of where things are going wrong. And as soon as it will happen, I think, it is going to be very clear to them. I mean, I'm very confident of Darshanji's, part, that the moment he observes that is the moment he will be able to understand, where a lot of work will be required. Meantime, we will be parallelly progressing on integration and all these things.
What do we want to do tomorrow? Do you want to specify that? Do you want to put together the some kind of okay, tomorrow what we want to do, and day after tomorrow? Do you want to discuss with the Darshanji, or how do you want to take the next step, Ji?
So what was your original, this was your original proposal, right? That we integrate with backend and front end, and
No. My original proposal was tomorrow, Darshanji and Dhavalji will put some lesson and will go through that as if like students are going through it. And based on Dhavalji's last Sunday's experience, he would say these are the areas where we found issues. So that
okay, no. That's where my suggestion is different, Vijayji. I would say no. Let a student do that, and probably a student who is not on the last session, and let Darshanji observe that. And if Darshanji is not
Dhavalji, are you there? Am I audible?
Kind of like short on time, we can just yeah.
So, sorry, Dhavalji, your voice was cut, Ji. I couldn't hear.
Yeah,
when you started saying my idea is, and then I couldn't hear.
Yeah, just a minute. So my idea is that me and you discussing, or he and me discussing, will be fine, but that will still not give him a complete understanding of what's going on. We can tell him that the students are interacting in a certain way, give that feedback give that feedback to him. But as soon as he sees students doing that is when he will be completely aware of the problem.
Perfect, Ji. So tomorrow, what do you want to do?
Have a student interact with the app based on either a new lesson that
who do we want to organize for tomorrow? Anupama ji, is Akshat available? Do you want to bring Diya, Disha, or who do you have in mind, Dhaval ji?
Any student that is available for the age group that we want. Akshat has used our system before.
Gayatri ji, you have somebody?
So that day only Kirtana was doing most of it. So we can still ask Mahant or Chirant. I think, no, they are not available. So Diya and Disha, I don't know if they'll give the feedback or not. So best is we will bring some other kid, Vijayji, new one. If Akshat is there, first priority is for Akshat. If Akshat is not available, I think he is also out of station. Then we have to bring in some other kid.
He will return tomorrow morning.
Okay. Then fine, Vijayji. Akshat is there for sure.
So will he be available for tomorrow night?
Yes, Ji.
Okay, all right. So Dhavalji, so then that is settled.
Yeah.
In terms
And
of getting the actual lesson for tomorrow's experiment, will you please be able to work with Darshanji?
So Darshanji has committed to some lesson or he has not?
I have not yet seen him respond to either in the group or anywhere. See, the thing is, I have been sending these messages hoping that people will respond. But, like right now, only because, we are discussing, things are coming out, right? So it may be the case with Darshanji too. So that's why, if you can kindly directly work with Darshanji, things will emerge clearly. So is it possible for you? How is your situation?
I can prompt him to create a lesson, but ultimately he will have to be working on that. And if he's short on time, then we can just use an existing lesson, like whatever, if he has created for our one-day experiential workshop. Then
That
also,
one, don't you think Dhavalji is actually not a good test candidate, because we already know it's just too big for a 20-minute session, right? Do we want to already put some guidelines based on what we already observed in that workshop session?
Also, what you are saying is that we want to first refine the lesson creation strategy with Darshanji, and then let him create a lesson. Is that what is our...
That was the thought process I had, Ji, because we already know quite a few things. But again, that's why I'm saying, you are the experiment leader for this. So I'm willing to fall in line with what you have to suggest. That's why I want you to take a final call.
Okay, no, it's a discussion. I'm going in a discussion.
No. In discussion also, Ji, it's very clear in my mind who should be leading what effort. As far as learning experience is concerned, it is you, because there may be veto situations, right? I may be seeing this way only, but ultimately I want you to take a call, and that's why we're having this discussion.
Okay. Yeah, we can definitely, it's possible for getting on a call with Darshanji and, explaining him that this is the way we want a lesson to be created. These are the shortcomings that we saw in previous content. And if he's able to create lesson by tomorrow, well and good. Otherwise, we will have to sit with him and the teacher to get that lesson created.
Correct. That is what I was asking, Ji. Is it possible for you to work with him between today and tomorrow? Do you have that kind of
No, I would be running short on time, but I am ready to devote 1 or 2 hours. But I don't think I will be just working with Darshanji there, Vijayji. Probably there will be all of us or, most of us involved in that because GPT will be there and, teacher will be there, Darshanji will be there. I highly think that a teacher would be creating a lesson here rather than Darshanji creating a lesson here. He would be just, involved in coordinating it from his side.
Okay, so let me see if he's available for a call just now.
Yeah.
Let me just call him. If he's available, let's just resolve it so that we are very clear what exactly we want to do tomorrow.
Exactly. So we need to get an idea of what kind of activity he is also planning to do.
Is it 10 minutes? I'll call you.
Okay, Ji. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so looks like he's not available for a call right now.
Yeah.
So let him come back. Hopefully he'll so let's keep what exactly we want to focus on tomorrow until he calls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So meanwhile, Shravanji, you wanted to bring up something with Dhavalji, right? Shravanji, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
shall I stop sharing, Ji?
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
I will present not able to find what document I wanted. Happening. No, that's not what I wanted. One minute.
What is the topic, Shravanji?
This is the database one. Oh, okay. Now I can.
Oh, just a minute. Darshanji is calling. Darshanji, Hari Om. Darshanji, I have you on speaker and I'm here with the team. Do you have 5-10 minutes of discussion time? Okay, all right. Dhavalji, are you there? Today, because most of them are also traveling, we also have connected remotely, Ji.
Okay.
Yeah. Dhavalji, are you there?
Yes, Vijayji, I'm here.
Okay. Darshanji is on the phone here with me.
Yeah.
So, let me just quickly set the context and then, we can have a short discussion.
Yeah.
Darshanji, this is related to tomorrow evening, 8 o'clock, what we called as the learning experience review discussion. So first of all, before we jump into the deep dive of that topic, according to you,
it looks like it is quite difficult for me to join tomorrow evening.
Okay. Okay.
There is like one event is happening in Mysore.
Okay.
Like one of the like he's a national leader
Okay.
through RSS. One RSS program is happening, and today completely it is going for
Going
music.
there. Okay.
So I'm completely like couldn't give time for this. So that's why, and also tomorrow till afternoon he'll be there, and he's been assigned with me to take around few places and all. So that is why looking like it is impossible for tomorrow evening.
Okay. So when is the earliest that is possible for you, G?
Like today's executive meeting, Tuesday or Wednesday evening, we can get in touch with all. Like I will try to. I have already told our team to prepare content, and given some instruction to them. So they're on it, and they will do using the Teachmeet itself. And then based on that, probably I'll tell you the time tomorrow. If it is not a problem.
Okay. So tentatively, it looks like it will be Tuesday.
The evening or Wednesday evening.
Okay. So first of all, in terms of the time, Dhavalji, will Tuesday evening or Wednesday evening be okay with you?
Yeah, should be fine.
Okay, all right. So that is the first thing, Darshanji.
Okay.
And what we were just now having a discussion about what is this learning experience experiment and what we should be focusing on. So see, what we wanted to essentially focus on is based on last Sunday's whatever the workshop that happened, there are quite a few observations that all of us as a team have gathered, and based on that, we wanted to ensure that you are able to generate the content on those updates that we have, and then we wanted to sit and review how that overall learning experience is going to be for a student. As an example, say on Tuesday also there may be Akshat who may be there, and let's assume you created content for a particular lesson, say gravity. Then he'll be going through that, of course, along with all of us, and all of us will observe how is it going, and based on that, is there any further fine tuning needed? Is how we wanted to kind of run this experiment. Okay. So as an example, that day we observed that the number of lessons or rather a particular lesson cannot be more than say overall 15 to 20 minutes. And when it is too long, student seem to lose interest. And when there is a video, that video should be part of a particular single slide. It cannot be mixed up with the text. Like that, some observations are there that Dhavalji has already made. So if let's say for Tuesday is the first time that we will be seeing the content, that is Dhavalji will be seeing the content for the first time on Tuesday, his learning from last Sunday may not be reflected already, because you may be instructing your teachers the way you already are doing, right? So how should we incorporate Dhavalji's viewpoints before you come on Tuesday? Do you have any ideas, Ji?
He's already summarized the pointers and all these observations. He could share that with us, and we'll review that. If any doubts or any clarification required, I will directly connect with Dhavalji and understand.
Dhavalji, you have any opinion on what you heard?
Yeah, I can connect with Darshanji and have a short discussion based on his availability, and I can explain him whatever I have in my mind, and we'll be able to collaborate with him.
Darshanji, could you hear Dhavalji?
Yes.
Yeah, are you okay with that approach?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So will you two coordinate amongst yourselves, or you want to continue here only? What do you want, Darshanji and Dhavalji?
I'm good, Vijayji. I can,
observations are there. Just make a note of it and send it in a mail, Dhavalji. I will go through that one. And probably I will only give you a call once I'm free. So you also let me know the desired or like your free hours for you to talk on this. And we will
Darshanji.
Based on that,
Sure.
we will.
That works for me.
Okay. So Dhavalji, what Darshanji is essentially saying is, he wants first a list of the changes that you think are needed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you'll be able to send that out, no?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And then based on that, the two of you will coordinate.
Correct.
So which means that, tomorrow evening we won't have the session. The earliest will be Tuesday. So Dhavalji, so Darshanji, if we have to have it Tuesday evening, prior to that only, you should have, with the incorporated, whatever the comments from Dhavalji, you should have given it to Dhavalji.
Right.
Also, please note that, Dhavalji is also traveling.
Okay.
So Dhavalji, you have any set timings when you're available?
No. I will be available. I'll have a word with him. Not an issue.
Sure, Ji. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I think this is set now. Tentatively Tuesday or Wednesday we'll meet. And so Anupama Ji, so Akshat will be our test child. That's okay, no, for you, Anupama Ji?
Yes. Yes, Vijayji.
Okay. All right. Dhavalji, is there any preference of content from your side, or let Darshanji decide that?
No. Whatever he is working on, let him continue.
Okay. Darshanji, is it a science content or a math content or combination? What do you have?
Yeah. We'll go with some complex only. Like probably we'll do one maths and one science.
Okay.
Other things are all say theoretical.
Yeah.
So science and maths is what we have concern. So let's go ahead with that.
Okay. Excellent, Ji. So once when Dhavalji sends you the feedback, of course, the two of you will connect. And while generating the content, if you need any help, so Gayatri Ji, can Darshanji work with you?
Yes, Vijay.
Okay. So from a custom GPT standpoint, Darshanji, if you need any suggestions or any help, Gayatri Ji will be your person to help you out. Okay. Dhavalji, Gayatri Ji, anything else that you have in mind to Darshanji?
Nothing else, Vijay.
Dhavalji?
Yes, Vijay.
Anything else for Darshanji?
No. Nothing else.
Darshanji, you have anything else from any one of us?
We are good, Vijay.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Darshanji. Thank you.
Thank you.
And all the best for your program.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so my intention here is only that much, Vijay, that, since usually Darshanji is short on time, the sooner and easier he gets the actual student viewpoint, it will be easier for him to actually coordinate with his team and,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
totally, I'm with you.
That's what, yeah.
See, I just wanted to begin this activity.
Yeah.
So therefore, because, all of us are in different places, right?
Correct.
I just started this. It's good. The way it's evolving, it is okay. So I request you to, until you feel that, it has come to a certain stage, because the learning experience ultimately is going to be delivered through the intersection of mentors and the tool, right?
Yeah.
Therefore, from our side, you are the best person to lead that. That's what I am requesting you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And do you think, mentors also should be there on Tuesday, or that you want to bring later?
Mentors can be there. I mean, see, overall is this awareness, Vijayji. One of the things that came out from the workshop was that the mentors and content creators and all will be needing to be aware that tools are one thing, but beyond that, the processes and the safeguards and the, learning of how things are working, how students are interacting, those things will be also quite important. And, the sooner we can bring that clarity is the better it will be for them.
So for Tuesday, do you want to incorporate
for Tuesday,
some mentors?
For Tuesday, mentors can be there in that activity, because they will be seeing what happens. They can see what happens when content is created and student is interacting with the content. So if they see an
one thing is because this entire activity has to be coordinated properly. One of us have to lead it completely.
Correct.
By putting in the mentors and then the students and then the Darshanji, because I don't think Darshanji is yet grasping what we are saying.
Yeah,
until
exactly.
Yeah, right.
Yes,
So,
yes.
so I can definitely in the group I can add Sharda ji and ask her to add anybody else. But in terms of what to expect, how to come prepared, so somebody has to prep them up and make sure that they come there with the right expectations. So that's the thing that I am asking. Are you okay to take that kind of a role?
Yeah, I'm okay. I can guide them.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a bit short on time, but I can still set that context. I can explain them all these things, and
Yeah.
I can make them understand the process. But I probably will be able to understand and explain them from a UI UX perspective. So I can take that. Not an issue, Vijay.
Yeah. So what I will do is I have already added anyway Kanti ji into that group. I will also now request Kanti ji to coordinate with Sharda ji and Meghna ji and bring that in. So that way we can leverage Kanti ji to bring them. And you in turn can, either in the group or however you feel appropriate, like how we just now kind of prepped Darshan ji, you can prep the mentors.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, ji. Yeah.
Yes, Vijay. Okay.
Thank you very much. I know it's taxing you, especially when you're traveling. But please feel
No
free to
worries.
let me know if anybody else can take any part of it. But it's you who's crafting the tool. So therefore, you and the mentor are the two most important participants in terms of the experience.
Yeah. Sure. Vijay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, Vijay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shravanji.
Okay, Hari Om. So let's start now looking at the integration point of view of the LG. A lot of questions are there from backend team.
Yeah.
I thought we will discuss them here. So basically, we you have shared this document, right? TechMate UI flow.
Yeah.
What we have done is we are keeping this as a live document, TechMate UI flow, but defining version 2 in that, because what's happening is the version 1 that we have developed, the earlier student made, are now undergoing some changes, and we had some discussions. I saw that you also made some changes, but I don't see change notes like this appearing. So if you are making any changes in this live document, please enable the comment section. For example, I think you have added this AI tutor as a JSON, right?
Yeah.
So I was looking for who added this, because there was no change comment corresponding to that. So
got it.
Now, because of this, and there are some other changes, I think Pratibha ji will lead. We have some lot of changes. We are removing some tables and trying to reorganize things at the back end. So Pratibha ji, you want to take up the questions, and I'll show the corresponding APIs and database.
Yes, sir. So Dhavalji, I just wanted to know about I think API number. I'll just check the number. Here it is called as content type, right? Content type and the experience type. Usually we have content type and experience type in block type itself, like K items itself. But when I am seeing in a post or a update or create, I see it as a content type as a separate one than the K items are the blocked ones. So I want to know if content type and experience type is for the lesson or for the block.
Yeah, now updated definition, actually it should be for K items. So we can remove content type, experience type from put and post.
Okay. And if you remove that, then it will be in the K items. That is the
K item. Yeah.
Okay. So that is one thing over. Okay,
Sure.
that.
Yeah.
Another thing is, can you explain the in AI tutor, if it is enabled, and then you will give the AI instructions, and then the prompt is also there, right? In the new version. So in the before version, I'm just giving a file name or file URL, I was sending it. So I think that is not there anymore. Am I right in understanding this?
File URL. What is that?
No, we actually thought AI instructions means
Yeah. It's not required anymore.
it's not required anymore. We are putting it as a JSON, this one.
Yeah.
And then you need to put,
So in the JSON, this prompt and instructions are of what type, Vijay ji?
Text.
They're all text.
Yeah.
and how much text it actually in the program, and sorry, in the database, it will store 1 GB text. Okay. So it will become too much. So on the UI only you have to put a condition that this many words and things, only then we can put it. I can't do it in my database. That is how the condition is.
Usually in Postgres, no text column actually they theoretically claim as no limit. So
Yeah,
you
that's
actually
why
have,
it shows it as 1 GB. So it depends. I mean, if we want a lesser one, it has to be, that condition has to be applied in the application layer, like, up in the like where do you, in any code or
So
API.
there are two ways we can think about it, Pratibha ji and Shravan ji. One is you can store this in a blob and you can only have a link here. Do we want to go with that kind of a design approach, or do we want to have the prompt and the instructions directly integrated into DB column?
I think it depends on the length of the text that is going to come from the.
Most of these are usually smaller. Say for example, maybe a few KBs of data, right?
Few
So far,
characters.
whatever the instructions and the prompt that you've seen, they're all a few KBs of text only.
Okay, then we can store it here only. I have no idea. I am not that good because
So for this iteration, my recommendation is let's just simply store it as a text field.
yeah, that's what that's why I have put it as text only right now.
Yeah.
Wanted to check with you also, because how much big and all, I have no idea.
Yeah, if at all it grows, to be really big, then, we can always look at hyperlinking with a blob storage.
Okay, that is also very good information. Yeah, and I forgot. 1 second, I'll just check my questions list. Okay. Yeah, now in the before version, AI instructions exactly meant that file URL. So, and then I later, another version, we made it into a text one, and that is not working. Then we made it another one as JSONB right now. This is a version 3. And now another question we have is on API 4. Responses will be
Sorry, what is the API for? You have to tell them, because I don't have.
I assume that you are putting on the. Can you just move the down? I mean, yeah, here API 4, this one.
Oh, okay.
Because that's easier for me. Here, yeah, this is over. Action type means what, Antavatam?
Action type is when you want to approve. So action type possibilities are approve or reject. So it's a senior or an administrative teacher reviewing this lesson and approving it. So enums are approve or reject.
Okay, yeah, it's already approved, or how is it? What is the status of the thing, right?
Yeah, approve, reject, or revise. Three of those.
Oh, no. It was not approve, reject. It was like, created, in progress, and approve.
Oh, that is status. That is status here. But while posting only, you will ask for approve, revise, or reject. I didn't understand the content, intent.
The context behind that. Can you please explain?
Yeah, so when there is an action type, I mean, it does not need to be all of them together at the same time. When there is an approval of a lesson or an action on this lesson, it can be just a lesson ID and action type. That's it.
That's a different one, sir. One
So
more.
there is another API that you have given for approval.
This one is approval.
Yeah, then you don't need action type here.
So can we update it here in the comments, sir?
No, I didn't follow. You don't need action type here, is it?
Yeah, we don't need that because we are creating another specification here for preventing confusion.
No.
Okay. Otherwise, you don't need this post in one post only. You want to combine. Which method you want us to take?
No, they will be different. I mean, it will be posting to the same. It will be posting to the same endpoint, but the payloads will be different. So this payload is for approval. The context is like, senior teacher is approving, rejecting, or sending for revision. And the other one is for updating a lesson for a normal teacher.
So we remove this here?
Yeah. Remove action type from there.
Okay. So then this is lesson approval. You want to another route altogether?
Yeah. No, route is not required, right? It's just lesson.
Okay. Okay.
I mean,
Fine.
if it is harder for you to maintain a same single route for both these, then go ahead and please create another route. I don't mind.
No. We can do that either way in the code, but you look at from a clarity point of view at API level. See, both mean the same thing for me. The moment I see action type, I'll take this route. If it's just post API lesson, the moment I see action type, I ignore everything else and do the action type.
Yeah.
Or I'll go through everything, post everything. Or I post, if there is something, I post everything. If there's an action type, I take action. Otherwise, I don't take action. Everything can be done, but it is what we need to define the API as, so that and we understand both that this is the approach we take.
Yeah. Shravanji and Dhavalji, here is the one principle let's establish. See, APIs, if we look at the names of the APIs, right now you have adopted a resource-based naming convention.
Correct.
So, for example, you will post a lesson, you will patch a lesson, you will delete a lesson, you will get a lesson. Whereas lesson approve is an action naming convention.
Correct.
That becomes more like a function naming convention. So let's not have a mixture of this. Let's have a single. So in that approach, in a noun-based naming convention, you would post a lesson to create a new lesson. If let's say there's a status change that needs to be done, let's say approved, it is approved. Now, what you do is you do a patch of the lesson. And during patch of the lesson, you send only that part of the lesson attributes that you need to patch. So the moment you have a patch action, you know that it is a change that is happening on the same resource called lesson resource. Does it make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. We can have the patch lesson, and then in which case this post is putting everything. Patch is whatever appear based on that I take it.
That you can have multiple patches. You can have a patch of action type. You can have a patch of, let's say,
exactly.
So
yeah. All other things also. It's not only patch here. If I change it to patch, it's not only a action type, but he can patch just the teacher ID. Lesson ID, the mentor instructions. Patch only a K item. That's also possible.
Yeah. So when you have such extensive patch that can happen, there are multiple approaches you can take. One approach could be in the request body. The sender can say, I'm patching this aspect. Then, your decision making becomes easier if you want to. That's one pattern that you can follow. Does it make sense what I'm saying?
Okay.
But if just for understanding, I'm trying to understand this part. Vijay ji, if a lesson, if a teacher wants to change a lesson, and lesson ID is created, everything is done, and then she wants to change the content of it, and then K items, and she wants to add some more blocks, and then change the order. If that is the case, then what kind of patch would you suggest for that? Change
Yeah.
of the blocks, is it?
Yeah. So for example,
I just need to understand.
in an object like lesson object where multiple kinds of things can change, how do you detect the change when let's say
Right now what Dhavalji told is you can't detect and you can't put everything like that. So if I have understood properly what Dhavalji said, I think that I understood it as I'll give you the whole lesson and the whole information related to it because we already gotten it.
अरे काय म्हणतो नाही प्लीज एमच करो तुम्ही that is the right.
And then the whole thing I'll give it to you. You just recreate the whole thing.
Correct. That is definitely one pattern.
Instead of trying to find out, you will not know what I have changed on the front end. You will not know. So it's better that I will send everything. You remove everything and put a new one as if you are creating a new lesson.
Yeah.
So,
Again, this is not a right or a wrong decision. It is a matter of trade-off.
so
Each
I'm
one is
just
a
trying
trade-off.
to understand which is the better.
If you do a full replacement, right? The trade-off is that there's a lot of bulk that is getting carried back and forth between the front end and the back end every time, right? Once when we enable change tracking, the change tracking will also be at the bulk level. So it increases the traffic and it increases the storage of change tracking. This is if we take the bulk approach. Sorry?
Change tracking we didn't think of.
We need to bring change tracking, no?
But basically, Vijayji, looking at this particular thing here, it is okay for putting everything of these things, the lesson ID to until K items, other than action type, again and again, because they're all tightly coupled. It is very highly unlikely that if somebody change the K item, he doesn't change mentor instructions. Right? He will change.
It is not about tight coupling, G. It is about think in this way, a lesson. Okay, so today the lesson resource, you are thinking it as a tightly coupled to a teacher. What if tomorrow we want to bring in a feature of, okay, I want to invite a teacher to collaborate on this lesson. Okay, so you want to bring in collaborators. And let's say you want to have different kinds of collaborators. Say there is an editor, there is a viewer, there is a commenter, like that collaborator, for example. So then, you need to bring in that aspect. So as you see, your lesson resource can have multiple sections. And it is not a practical thing to keep on, let's say having a big object structure, go back and forth every time. So purely if you want to, yeah, go ahead, Pratibha.
No, sir, I'm listening.
Can you just mute because there is a background?
No, I think it's coming from Dhavalji's side.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
So what Dhavalji has given is one design pattern, which is every time, the whole thing goes back and forth. That is one design pattern. The other design pattern is a very, what we generally call as it's generally called as a send only the change. Yeah. It's called change tracking. And change tracking is done right from the front end itself. So the front end puts some kind of a marker in the patch instruction saying that, hey, this is the change I've done. So that way the backend can respond. It becomes a very nimble transmission.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
We can do it as a patch.
Yeah. And in the patch, the front end can tell, okay, this is the only piece of attributes that have changed.
पार्शियल चेंज करना हो तो पैच काम में ले।
हाँ।
और लेकिन सर ये कि ऊपर एपीआई है, इसके अंदर हम लेसन आईडी और टीचर आईडी भेज रहे हैं। यहाँ पे इन्होंने पोस्ट बोला, तो हमें डिस्कस करना था, यहाँ पुट काम में लेना है, पोस्ट काम में लेना है, क्योंकि यहाँ पूरा चेंज हो रहा है।
See, between a put and a patch, it's a matter of a convention.
Put
Okay,
for
there is no strict rule as such.
नो
So,
सर, सॉरी, पुट और पोस्ट, सर पोस्ट और पुट है, तो यहाँ पे पुट
no. I'm not talking about post and put. When you want to create a
Patch is-
new resource.
पैच इज क्लियर सर।
हाँ,
लेकिन जो सर ने स्क्रीन पे एक एपीआई शो कर रही है, रिक्वेस्ट पोस्ट लेसन, वहां पे आगे मार्क करके लिखा हुआ है पुट एपीआई फॉर। तो यहाँ पे हमें लेसन आईडी और टीचर आईडी को यूज करते हुए, यानी यूज कर रहे हैं, तो यहाँ पे मुझे ये पूछना था कि यहाँ मैं पुट एपीआई काम में लूँ ना, कि क्योंकि पूरा चेंज हो रहा है, नीचे वाला पूरा अपडेट हो रहा है।
so the way generally the convention can be, Carnegie, if let's say whatever the main resource route that you're using, say /lesson, if that lesson is getting created, when that particular API call happens, if that whole resource is getting created, the convention is to use post.
Yeah.
Okay. And if parts of it are getting updated, but if the main resource is going to remain the same, then it is a patch.
Done, sir.
So Shravanji and
So
Pratibha
I
ji,
think the question that Carnegie was asking is,
yeah,
the difference between post and put. Post is when you create a new resource, and put it is when you update a resource completely.
and patch is also for updating only, but
patch is only a replace a value. Typically, patches are used for replacing a value. Put is for replacing a particular row or enabled thing. Given an ID, against that ID, put a row. Whereas post is to create an ID and then do it. That is normally what we see in the thing is. For example, if there is no lesson at all, there was no lesson with that lesson ID, then I post a lesson ID, post a lesson ID is given to me that this is the new lesson ID from now on. In the lesson ID, I'm only changing the entire record or changing something. Then I'm putting a lesson. And patch is when everything is there, one particular record is updated, then I put as patch. So that is a normal convention which we thought, but here we are confused.
Yeah, okay. So let's look at it this way, Ji. So now for our lesson, okay, again, it depends upon, how granular we want to be. So for example, what are the main parts of our lesson? You can create them as sub-attributes, first thing. So as an example, a lesson has lesson content or, content. Then lesson has the collaborators. Collaborators is another section. Then a lesson has AI related aspects. So then a lesson has the, let's say, the various kinds of change tracking aspects. So if you think about it that way, there are 4 main sub aspects: content aspect, collaborators aspect, the AI aspect, and then the change tracking aspect. Any other main aspect that is coming to your mind, Shravanji, as far as lesson is concerned?
No, that's fine. Maybe those 4. Yeah.
Yeah. So the general pattern can be, these are the 4 main sub attributes. The moment you open your lesson, you'll be able to see these main attributes. Okay. Each attribute is an object. So the lesson is an object. Then collaborators is an object, like that. So now we have a next level of design choice to be made. So when I'm creating a lesson, of course, it is a post, no doubt. So no confusion. And what are all the minimum attributes among these 4 that need to come together to create lesson that is also designed to be made. For example, I cannot create a lesson without some basic attributes in the content, without some basic attributes in the collaborators. But AI can be blank, okay? Then change tracking can be blank, okay? So then I need to make that choice very clear. Okay, what is mandatory, what is not mandatory? And that mandatory, non-mandatory has to be further thought at those sub-attributes level. So within a content, is it the lesson name that is mandatory, or is it the K items? At least one K item has to be there. So like that, you have to first and foremost establish business principles. So with those business principles, you will now go and create your lesson. Okay, so when those are given, then only a new resource called lesson gets created. No problem. Now comes the next, the put and the post. Now let's assume I want to replace, say, content. Content so far had, let's say, one knowledge block. Now I have, through the front end or whatever mechanism, I've removed that block. I've added 2 new blocks. The lesson resource is still the same, but the underlying content is getting modified. I'm replacing something. Now, this is where you and I have to now make a next level design choice, which is when a replacement is happening, does it mean that if, let's say, the K item was earlier 1 associated with lesson ID 1, is it that the KID 1 is going to have a new content, or is it that KID 1 is going to be delinked and a new KID gets added? That's a choice that we need to make. I would say that we never simply go and unless it is necessary, we simply will not replace. We will add a new lesson content and we will link this new lesson content. So like that, you need to go to the next level of choice making, G. Then I think we'll be in a better position to discuss this matter. Is it making sense?
Yes. So yeah, this will probably work out. This is just a convention.
Yeah.
I understood what you're saying. We need to design that. Right now, we took the easiest approach that everything would be just untouched. We will just go by separate routes for approval and this thing. But we can change based on what you're saying. Let's see some basic things, and based on that, we define the actual action of the post.
Yeah.
Okay.
So so right now you may be taking okay, let the UI drive the API design viewpoint. I would say it's a kind of like a iterative. The UI can set an initial, let's say, version, but then it is the API side which has to really refine it and decide, depending upon, your backend structure, right? You need to decide.
Correct.
Especially for a complex resource like lesson, it cannot be always, okay, the whole thing gets replaced approach.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so when you do it, maybe we can review it again, G, and then we can connect to double G.
So the structuring as to the convention of post and what to do, we can look at, but there are some semantic things that we need to write the code. So these things we can change anytime in the code, but the questions that Pratibhaji is raising is with respect to database as well. So we'll finish those questions first.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Pratibhaji, can you?
So, sorry, G, before we jump onto that topic, Shravanji, what I recommend is you to create what I generally call as our API convention document. Okay. So some kind of a broad guidelines. Okay, this is when we will do post. This is when we will do patch. This is how we will do patch. This is how we will design our resources. So some kind of a guidelines document. Let's first align on that. Then it becomes easier to use that as a guiding principle to create.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Pratibhaji, next one.
Yeah, as we discussed in the huddle yesterday night, in this request post approval, that patch or whatever in that we are seeing right now, should we have to return the whole lesson and the whole K items, everything along with the
Pratibhaji, as far as API is concerned, that is why I'm saying you guys need to come up with that guidelines. Then the answer will naturally emerge. So right now, therefore, if
because
you are
your
okay,
request and response does not have anything particular like this, so we thought it is 200 okay, and that is it. So now when we discuss
response always should contain some key attributes also, depending upon the context of the request, right? So that's why if you come up with that convention or the guidelines, you yourself will discover that answer. Maybe from an API viewpoint, let's reserve until you have that thinking. Are there any DB level questions?
One second. I think yeah, in DB level question, what do you call that? Yeah, do we when we were talking related to with Dhavalji on that day, he also said that we might have to remove that phase, for example, learning, evaluation, and another one.
Yeah.
So if they remove it, I can remove it inside very easily. That's not a problem. But is that not very important information that I'll carry it in the
No,
data?
that is what Dhavalji just now said. Based on the last week's viewpoint, the experience types have to be kind of connected in a very dynamic way, depending upon what you are learning. Whereas that viewpoint of learning, mastering was imposing a very strict, unnecessary constraint. That is why he has now said, okay, you can in a very fluid way, you can connect any knowledge block in any order.
The question that we are asking is, right now there is a clash between the experience in the K items versus lesson level, which once a block is there, the block anyway has the enum of narrative, descriptive, persuasive, gamified kind of experience. But in the lesson we had that explanatory. So this is a different kind of experience. There is another type of experience we had in K item called K phase. It is removed here, right? Is it?
Because he told it is not necessary version 2, I thought.
No, but you should keep it and dash. Where was it earlier?
It is still in my database. Like K phase is in the K items, telling that it is learning, mastery, and evaluation. That was.
And it was in the K items, right?
Yeah.
So a block was at block level we defined it earlier. This is just a learning one. This is a mastery. This is evaluation one. Now you don't want that information to be persistent in the database as well. It will only be understood by the teachers. Then fine. But we were wondering if we remove both, then it doesn't make sense. In fact, narrative, descriptive, experience, persuasive, gamified, all these are types of the same block looked at from different perspective. Whereas that was more important, the K phase or whatever. That's what we thought. So we wanted to know where is it coming. You are removing
K type.
Yeah,
K type. Where is it, Shravanji?
Huh?
K type.
K
type. So K type can be text.
K type is the media. See, that's the problem.
Yeah, I think that we want to now refine. K type can be audio, video, text, quiz, AI evaluation, or activity.
So the media enum is.
The changes are there. We have to put it in our enum and then this one.
Yeah,
exactly. Otherwise, when
media
you
enum
do
is already
it,
there.
then it will not come in there.
So video, audio, text, quiz,
PPT. Yeah, so that is all there.
It is already there.
Yeah, so that's what defines what it is.
But K phase is different. K phase was the K phase enum was like this.
Learning, mastery, evaluation.
Yeah.
Shall we keep it or what?
It's becoming harder and difficult to relate now because of very,
Just
you
one.
know, fluid data structure.
So this is also not there in the TeachMate that earlier you had that blocks, no?
Yeah,
They are not,
it
they're
will,
removed in
I
the
will
TeachMate
be,
as well. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I will be removing it, or that's where, I want to work more with TeachMate actually. I will be removing it and refining the experience to add any type of blocks at any point of time. So it's more like a serial journey rather than, because then what happens if you want to switch back and forth between these?
Got it.
So
I
what
mean, we
should
can add
do?
it as a tag,
Yeah.
doesn't matter. But the way we were envisioning earlier is like, first let there be learning, then there be mastery, and then there be evaluation. If that's not the sequence, then it's not really a lot of value in adding a K phase, rather than it is a type of the slide. It's not a phase, because phase is more like, sequential. Does that make more?
Yeah, K type is definitely required because you want to render that block in a particular way. And therefore, that information is important. That's been there from long time. No change in that. The confusion is
this
between
can be repurposed as, rather than it's saying it K phase, like learning type, or, I don't know. I am not able to get a better name for it, but I mean, it should not be a phase. Rather than it can still be learning, mastery, and evaluation, but it cannot be a phase, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Because they can be now very fluidly connected.
Okay.
So this important from us for Dhavalji, because what has happened is between version 1 and 2, there are so many version 1.1, 2.1, again 1.9, which are in between things. So what we should do is we have the current version 1 defined. It may not be perfect, but it's there in StudentMate. And TeachMate also, we had some version 1 which we used for actually integrating the StudentMate. StudentMate also has a lot of TeachMate tables. So now we are trying to go to version 2, and we want to fix this version 2. Then
see,
we
this
fix
data
this.
Still, I would say we are still on the same lines. This data still is important. I mean, if that's what you're calling out.
Correct.
Yeah, phase is important. I mean, what I'm saying is just changing in the way we call it, because it's no longer a sequential phenomena. It is still indicating that an item is whether an evaluation item, or a learning item, or a mastery item. But the way it is evolving now is more like they can be very fluid in the sequence. So
it is not blocking because it's in K item. The sequence is not defined. See, any K item can come anywhere. We are not blocking the sequence, right? Only identification should be there or not. If we remove it, we'll remove it. We have absolutely no issue in this.
No, I think Shravanji, what Dhavalji is saying is okay to have a tag, but he doesn't see that it as a phase. The value, learning, mastery, evaluation is okay to have that, but the naming is not necessarily K phase.
Exactly.
That's what he's saying. So as an example, it can be okay. Let's resolve what is that, whatever that name is going to be, and what is K experience. K experience, Dhavalji, isn't it something? What is the end experience of that particular block, that particular K item? Whoever is going to consume that K item on the student, what is the final experience it leaves, is what we wanted to capture in the K experience, right?
Yeah, sir. Sorry, Vijayji, the same K experience what is right now is a changed one. That's why it is in the green. Before it was hook, curiosity, explanation, and one more.
Yeah.
Now we changed it after seeing the TeachMate that on that day we discussed on the whatever Dhavalji gave it to me.
But
According to that, I checked it
ultimately,
right now.
ultimately that in the movie strip that he creates, the video, there are small strips, right? Each strip is a K item, right?
Okay.
The atomic block. Isn't the K experience? What is the end experience of that atomic block?
I think we have to put this proper way. Otherwise, I keep changing and then I keep updating.
Yeah, so that's why. First, let's
At
resolve
least
that naming.
put on, like,
First, let's resolve what is that we want to
version 1,
capture.
version 2, something is a better way for me here.
No. I agreed, Pratibhaji. Now, what they want to finalize is, let's finalize this for this version right now. That is why I wanted this meeting, because we seem to be going up and down. And so, Vijayji, what I understand is, we want to this, instead of K-face or whatever, KLME also we want in K item. K experiences, end experience also we want to have. Only thing is, how we use it is not restrained right now.
So, but see, the value of Shravanji, that it's a learning block or a mastery block or a evaluation item, is relatively secondary value. Therefore, I'm asking this question to Dhavalji. Each K item, should it have a experience tag? Okay, for the time being, let's not worry about what is the naming. Let's say simply we can call it as tags. Okay, and these tags. What is this tag? Is there an experience when you consume a particular K item? Is it going to leave me with question? Is it going to leave me with clarity? Is it going to leave me with I want to research more? Isn't that what we want in the K experience? Because in the front end, you will paint that K item in a different way depending upon the experience type. Isn't it, Dhavalji?
Exactly.
If it is a description, you will paint it slightly differently. If it is a, say, curiosity generation is the experience type, you'll
and see, these are to support forward compatibility with whatever Darshanji has in mind. Today he might not be having a lot of preferences or a lot of inputs for different types of experiences, but tomorrow if he wants to have, then basically we are following the document that Darshanji has created.
Correct.
So this K experience is more like to support whatever experiences he is envisioning, versus versus this phase is a classification of types of content for learning, mastery, and evaluation. Again, the support being for forward compatibility in front end, where we might want to present these in a different way.
So, Dhavalji, if you ask me, what we are currently referring as phase is more for bucketing, classification.
Yes, exactly.
Right. And right now, okay, it may be good, but let's keep it aside. Because that one we can even infer from the data. But what is important in terms of the runtime rendering is, what is the experience that particular item has to generate for the learner, right?
Yeah.
So that K experience, you are going to use it particularly to say, oh, this is how I want to present this content, right? So at this stage, we don't have to really already align on the face, that we can actually remove, and K experience is what we need to retain. Would that be a correct statement?
Yeah, it's both correct actually. Like I said, K experience comes out of Darshanji's this thing. And what he wanted to initially do is, have content generated based on K experience type selection in TeachMate, and also, save that for classification for a different probably experience or something. Versus, this was for our own bucketing. We remove that, it's not an issue. if we keep that, there might be some forward future use is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, no, removing as in today, it is not fitting well with the thinking. So we can always introduce it later when we really see the need for it. Today, what is the need that we are all feeling very clear? Each atomic learning unit has to have some kind of a tagging, which we are
correct.
Yeah. So that it is rendered differently in the front end. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what is the naming of those tags? For example, looks like there are two distinct ways. Narrative, descriptive, expository, persuasive is one way, or curiosity, hook, explanation, verification is another way. Which way you see it, G, in terms of driving your front-end behavior?
Actually, to be very honest, I infer that based out of K-type at the moment. The way I envision it would be based out of K-type. Because K-type is the one going to differentiate all kind of K items. Like quiz K item or, our AI evaluation K item or an activity K item.
Okay. So the K type, according to you, is so the column D. What is the column D?
What you are proposing is that if a K item
media is just an enum of these. K type is the enum is named as media.
So you are saying K type, let K type be just the raw content type. And
whether it is text or video or audio like this.
Audio, okay. And let there be, either a curiosity kind of a classification or another classification, which will, based on the classification, render the K item in a certain way, even if it is text. So say, for example, our this thing is like curiosity. I mean, the problem that I see is that, from a technical standpoint, I'll tell you why this is coming out from a technical standpoint is that now, due to our markdown these thing, text can have either a quiz, text can either have an activity, text can either have a normal lesson. Okay, so text is going to hold all three types of things. Now, based on that, what happens is that if I just go by, say, for example, K experience, I don't have a definitive way of ensuring that this is a quiz and I need to render a quiz. Based on, say, for example, the other types like curiosity, hook, explanation, verification, there also I need to be able to know that this is a quiz. So where is the quiz type going to be definitely indicated that, I need to render this content in test? Does that clarify my concern?
So one is a rendering issue that we need to solve.
Exactly.
Right? Which is, okay, if it's a PDF, I need some kind of a PDF integrate. It's a media type, for lack of better terms. It's a media type information.
Yeah.
Yes.
Would that be a fair way to look at it?
Yeah.
Yes.
So then, we simply can call it as media type. Instead of calling it as K type, it can be called as media type.
Yeah, so that was the original idea. We called it a media only. Of course, instead of K type, I can change this also as media type.
So it will contain, the technical definition of that media. So, okay, whatever the technical definition. And then the K experience double G is to drive the, what is the learning intent of that unit.
Correct. But it needs to have enough classification to indicate if it's AI evaluation or if it is our quiz or things like that.
So do we want, in terms of, overall experience, let's assume, there are 10K items. Each K item has to have some additional tagging, classification tagging.
Correct.
Which is not just media. That enables you to know what it is. And why would that be important for you?
Because, otherwise it's guessing. That's harder.
No, correct. But how are you going to make use of that information?
So if it's a quiz text type, I mean, if the text contains a quiz and, obviously the type is quiz somewhere, then I'm going to render it as a quiz.
That is a media type, no, already. There's a media type called quiz. Or is
so we are defining a media type called quiz.
Is there a media type called quiz?
Yeah, initially we thought so, because this quiz is actually you're using quizzes or something, which actually is its own type, isn't it? So that's what we thought. There's a media type called quiz. It was there even in version 1. In fact, this was there right from the beginning, the very first version.
So, Dhavalji, you can think of, the media column containing instructions for you to think of it like, you have different players, like how you have a video player, audio player, PPT player. You have different players, right? It allows you to identify one player.
Exactly.
That is how we should treat the media. Okay, that's the semantics of media.
Yes.
Now, the semantics that we want to bring next is, you may use a quiz media, you may use the video media, but are you using it to create curiosity, or are you using it to provide clarification?
Yeah.
Right?
Currently the UI has very rudimentary, techniques to differentiate between curiosity and hook and all, which we can refine later, but that is baked in right now.
And right now, even if you distinguish, there is no distinct UI capability that you have, is what you are saying.
Yeah, it's like we are differentiating by icons and some background and all, but that's it.
That's it, right? Today, your UI, the V1 UI of student made, is primarily going to rely on the media type.
Yeah.
Okay. So, which means that this is more of a classification tagging.
Exactly.
Right? Which can drive behavior. So then, for the time being, I'm just asking a question. If it is not even there, would it affect your V1 UI?
The K experience?
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure. We are not really dependent on it for our primary rendering.
So, Shravanji and Pratibhaji, do we even need to solve it today? Let's move it out for this iteration.
Yeah.
As we feel a clear...
I think we will keep it as K tag, and the enum of that K tag, we can just leave it for time being.
No, but how are you going to get it, G? How are you going to get it? See, what happens, G, is, in data modeling, when semantics is not clear, and if you keep it, that causes a lot of confusion, like how we are now circling around, right?
Yeah. Okay. So I think I want to highlight that, both this even K experience type, this narrative and all, we wanted to initially just retain, for classification purposes only. But I think the primary aim of that was actually to be passed to the GPT API, and, GPTs would use that for some sort of content generation. So it were less meant for UI and more meant for content classification and generation.
Yeah. On what basis the content was created?
Correct.
So, Shravanji, we have two choices to make. Choice number 1 is, we simply remove it, and we will introduce if we see a strong semantic need. That is one choice. No, I'm not yet done giving the choices. This is choice number 1.
Yeah.
Choice number 2 is, like how Dhavalji just now prompted, we connect it to, if you think about it, each of our custom GPT has certain characteristic, right? So which custom GPT was used? We can have a custom GPT or a content generation approach. We will define a separate table for that, just like how in the AgentMate we define the AI context, right? Imagine there's an AI context for this content generation. So that AI context table, we can connect it here. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
So which choice would you pick at this point of time?
I think at this point of time, we'll just remove that.
Okay.
And AI context, because a lot of other things are still not clear about AI context. And K items is something which is, if we see in the AI, in the most of the API code, K items are just stored and returned and never looked into. Right? So if we change it, it's only the memory that's going to affect.
So then let's for the time being remove it. And when we have a very clear understanding of what we want, we can then model it.
Yeah, we'll just remove it because K item itself is just a JSON which is returned as it is. And we are not trying to, other than the K ID, API will not look into other things. It will just store as it got and give it back.
Okay. And Dhavalji, the types, media types that Pratibhaji has given, that's the final thing that you're going to use to drive your UI behavior, right?
Yeah. Okay. Media type needs to have, yeah. Okay. Text is there, PDF, audio, video, quiz. AI evaluation needs to be a media type.
AI evaluation is a media type.
Yeah. AI evaluation activity need
Okay,
to
those
be.
also you're seeing as media types, is it?
Yeah, yeah.
I think that is where we are confused. You are mixing rendering and interpretation in the same type.
Yeah, but we have to, because see, otherwise it is a difficult point, right? Otherwise, what happens is, where is a definitive type for AI evaluation?
Just now agreed, Dhavalji, that media type is going to be used to create different what we call as plugins, player plugins, right?
Correct.
Is AI evaluation a plugin then for you?
Yes, it is a plugin for me.
So Shravanji, then it is okay, no?
Okay,
see what
fine.
Dhavalji is saying is, he has n number of players in his front end.
Exactly. Now we are, yes. Now we are on the same page.
Right?
Yes.
He has n number of players, and
Yes.
each player type he has to be told, hey,
Yes.
this content I'm giving you is for this player. That's all he
Correct.
wants.
Correct.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
We will change it. We will change it to AI type. Okay.
So,
AI prompt or whatever.
No, not AI prompt. It is a player type. What player can be used to play that K item is what he wants.
Player type or something like that will be also fine.
Yeah. So let's call it as, instead of media, let's call it as player type, and the value will be player type.
Okay.
Player type, no? The column is player type, column name.
Column name itself is player type. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. And it will contain enum of player types.
Correct. Yeah.
And,
everything else is now metadata. This is the main thing that front end needs.
And then, you the front end and the back end need to agree upon the enums.
Correct.
Exactly. Yeah. So now you can make a list of the enums, and the enum can continue to evolve.
Okay. So in this, you also want the AI type. AI, what is that? AI eval. Is it?
Yeah. AI eval. Yeah.
Okay.
Dhavalji, when a particular K item is being played, you also feed your Krishna, no? For
Yeah.
that, from where are you getting G?
So that is the AI context.
And that has to come at a K item level for you.
So it is up to us. So it is one of the points we wanted to discuss, that do we want K item specific context and enabling and disabling of our Krishna? Because what is happening is, one of the feedback was let's disable him on activity pages. Okay, let's disable him on quiz pages. So earlier we were doing it based on the phase. That okay, if it's a mastery phase or if it's an evaluation phase, then we will basically disable it. Okay, so that is something we need to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And that's where I think even the learning phase and all is also making sense a bit.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
no, but learning phase, the same K item may get used for learning as well as for mastering. So therefore,
Yeah.
let's not anymore bring that.
Yeah. Then we probably want to have that, whether we, by default for quiz and AI eval, I will be disabling. But other than that, if we want disabling for a particular K item, we want that facility, whether AI tutor is enabled. And if yes, what is the context and prompt for the tutor?
So here is a question, both of you can comment. See, at the K item level, we are simply capturing each of the K item. Okay. We have no thinking about, okay, whether, AI should be enabled or not enabled. That's a matter of how we want to craft our learning experience. Because a K item, if it is free of all these constraints, it can be freely used. Same K item, once you can use for I'm just giving an example, for a slow learner with AI tutor enabled, for a fast learner with AI tutor disabled. I'm just giving an example, right?
Yes.
So therefore, I would say that AI tutoring techniques should not be imposed at a K item level. But how do we want it to be? That's the separate discussion. So maybe we can have that discussion once when we refine this initial content with Darshanji.
Yeah.
And during that the next iteration, let's have this topic. How do we want that Krishna to behave? So let's understand the Krishna's behavior and then bring it here.
Yeah.
Where necessary.
Yeah. And one more thing that comes to my mind, Vijayji, now that we are discussing this much, and I'm getting more clarity. Another way of quickly facilitating this entire testing is, have TeachMate generate some sort of JSONs on a remote location and have StudentMate read those. So that's a very good intermediate step to allow this sort of interfacing quick and dirty. What do you feel like? Does that make things easier?
What are we solving through this? I didn't understand. Can you?
No, I mean, for facilitating Darshanji's work, if that is something that we can very quickly do, probably in a day or two or 3-4 days, where TeachMate directly generates that lesson content as a JSON and saves it to some remote location, and StudentMate reads that and
from that.
Renders that.
Okay. Shamanji, what do you feel? Is it possible?
No, it's possible in a machine, in a single machine. If you are trying to quickly patch it up, what he's saying is, instead of backend being there, he will just post it in a data in a location as just JSONBs, and a program will just take it and give it back to the lesson.
No, Ji, what Dhavalji is saying is a shared, imagine there's a shared folder. Maybe it's a Google Drive. So TeachMate will go and write to that Google Drive. StudentMate will read from that Google Drive.
Yeah.
And that Google Drive is nothing but the table for now. But one of the way you can quickly facilitate, Shravanji, is, you already have actually the tables. If you can push it to table and read from the table, that's that.
That's correct. So, but the thing is, where he posts and what he still needs to look. See, suppose he posts 4 lessons, and TeachMate puts 4 lessons all in different JSONBs. Then even for StudentMate to identify what lesson to pick up, there is some logic to be involved, right? It can be hard coded in post in StudentMate. Then there's nothing. This can be done within the the code patches in both StudentMate and TeachMate applications at the back end. Correct?
See, you're pushing that. Yeah, go ahead, Dhavalji.
Go ahead, Vijayji. No.
You're pushing the JSON content from TeachMate to database, right, Shravanji?
Correct.
What's the current convention you're thinking of pushing from TeachMate? What is the API that you're exposing to get the content from that ChatGPT, the TeachMate
so
UI?
From TeachMate, it is post lesson. And from StudentMate, it is get lesson.
It's the same JSON, no?
It is not same JSON today. We have to make it same at least. I'll show you what is the APIs of 1 minute. Yeah. So
so is it possible, Ji, to get the post and the get working within the next 1 or 2 days?
Yeah.
That way, if somebody goes to TeachMate and puts the content, it flows. How it flows is up to you. But ultimately, from a UI viewpoint, it should be able to post, it should be able to get. Is it possible?
Correct. Yeah. So what we're saying is, for example, this is a get lesson. Today, if we need to change this in such a way, this response is exactly similar to the response that post API is giving from TeachMate. Then I can just store this. There's only one API. You just store the lesson and get the lesson back. This we can make. I can just make a small patch of this, program out of this.
So Shravanji, imagine, you open that day, Darshanji opens a TeachMate. He finds some content and he pastes the content in TeachMate UI, right? And he clicks on save. Now, some backend API will be called by TeachMate.
Correct.
Okay. Step number 1. Step number 2, now, let's assume by default, we associate it to all the students for now. Step number 2 is, you go to StudentMate and you click on science, and it should fetch this new lesson.
Correct.
So if this has to be facilitated, is there a lot of work that still needs to happen on your side?
No, the question is, do you want this at the user end or at the back end?
No, the front ends have to work like that. TeachMate has to be able to push, then StudentMate has to be able to get.
Correct. push and get only the lessons or everything else? No authentication?
No
Nothing
authentication.
else.
Let's not worry about authentication for now.
Okay. Yeah, we can simplify it and give it.
It's basically, Shravanji, those are just two dummy endpoints. Get some data, put some data,
Yeah.
It doesn't bother about what is getting put or get.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, by all means, we can use some other temporary mechanism. Basically, what this is going to allow us to do, and especially backend team to do, is, properly proceed while also not blocking Darshanji and others. And, you will be able to get proper time in implementing things. And if there are too many changes happening all the time, then you will also not be kind of impacted.
Yeah, we can do that. Only you need to decide that JSON-B, what you put and what you get. I can quickly make a working program with probably a local a database only. Just give this thing in one place.
Yeah.
So it need not be even on the cloud, as long as you know the correct API of my, let's say, in my laptop. Always call my laptop and get it from there. So one quick program we can make like this.
That will again cause some confusion, Shravanji. See, so let's say, that day how the experiment can happen is, you go to the teachmate that you already have hosted in Firebase. That should be able to talk to some endpoint. And
the teachmate and teachmate UI and studentmate UI can still be in Firebase.
But why should they talk to some other API instead of that they talk to your Cloud Run API?
No, but then what is happening is Teachmate API is running to Cloud Run API of Teachmate only. Teachmate UI is running to one Cloud Run instance, which is Teachmate MS, and StudentMate is another MS, and behind is a background a database, which is in another cloud.
Correct.
So there are two Cloud Run instances, one Cloud SQL instance involved in this.
Correct.
Instead, what I'm saying is, in one Cloud Run instance, I give both.
Okay. So see, the thing is, at the end of the day, it should not cause one more work, second more confusion.
Exactly. Yeah, I actually want to reduce the work. I don't want additional work to happen.
Shravanji, even if, let's say, today they have to generate and manually give the content like how they gave for the experience workshop, I'm okay. But my preference is, if you can give the teachmate to push and StudentMate to pull in the actual mechanism without authentication, then that is preferable, because to go another route, it will cause so much of more confusion now.
No. What I'm saying is, the same code that I have both in Teachmate MS and StudentMate MS, I'll select that code, put it in another.
That's exactly what I don't want, because then suddenly we will have one more instance of it running and we'll have all sorts of confusion. Let's avoid that, G.
Yeah, we are like what Vijay said, we probably want some very quick and dirty way, like, saving it to Google Drive and pulling it out of Google Drive or some such similar location where nothing much is there. Like, it's a free form text file and text file thing. Whatever is there inside text file, we don't really worry too much about it.
Correct, but how you want me to? I'm confused. What exactly you want from me then?
In fact, Shravanji, I want, like I'm discussing with Vijayji, that if we totally do it this way, that will, help you by not, increasing this churn and chaos, and it will actually allow you to focus on the actual front.
It's not that this is stopping just the. See, you took that whole discussion which we initiated in a different way. I am not asking this from the point of view of what we'll do for student experience thing that is going to happen for sure. What we want to know is the final thing. But in between, if you want something, we can always make some changes. Not a problem. But exactly which way you have given an APIs. We are working on API based thing, and that API has certain strictness to it in accepting it, in authenticating it, in storing in database, retrieving it, and all that. Now, if we don't want these APIs, then we need to have a quick and dirty post and get kind of operation to be done, not the APIs. We have to write another code. Or we want these APIs, but we don't want validation or authentication, then we can bypass those things in the same code. What exactly is required, I'm not able to understand clearly.
Yeah, I'll explain. Shravanji, see what I'm envisioning is that, see, these APIs we can use. So one thing is that in next 2-3 weeks, we'll need to make them ready and functional and all. And then we'll need to present it to Darshanji's and team. And then so again, what might happen is that
today what is happening is the interface level confusion is happening between student mate and MS.
Yeah, that's what. So that's
we
because
want to cut short, but if you don't know what is the interface, in what way we cut short?
No. See, I'll tell you. So what is happening is, and then after using those APIs, again, Darshanji will have some feedback. Content team will have some feedback. There might be more things coming out of that exercise. And, again, we will have to go ahead and make changes there and things like that. So what I am proposing here is that in order to facilitate the experimentation where we are not sure of the outcome, there might be more changes coming out of that experimentation, which might lead to changes in both front end and back end. Then what it is an option we can have. It's not a necessary.
Dhavalji, please see if it is possible. Anyway, you now know exactly what you have done in the TeachMate UI.
Correct.
Can you find out whether you yourself can simply write to some shared drive?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
So is it possible that you create this plumbing?
Correct. Exactly. That's what I'm suggesting. That I'll create that plumbing so that Shravanji can actually focus on the proper structured backend without getting impacted by all these flux.
Absolutely. Let them continue to work on whatever they're doing. You just create a dummy post and dummy get.
Exactly.
Right. Or experiment post and experiment get. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I'm proposing. So it will make your life easier, Shravanji. I'm trying to do that.
No. What I was saying is I would do that plumbing in a separate thing for you, apart from not touching any of that's what I was saying. You can also do yourself. If you are doing it, then it's much easier because you know exactly what is going to come out and what is going to be. If you don't have time, I can make it given, provided you'll say,
I'll try. If it's not working, I'll definitely reach out.
Yeah. Okay. That way, once when this is clear, maybe after a week or whatever time, then we simply have to take that and then modify these APIs.
Exactly. Yeah. This is more like setup of an experimentation setup so that things work that way.
Yeah. Makes sense, Ji. Makes sense. Yeah. Shravanji, anything else that needs to be brought up for Dhavalji's discussion?
No. For now, I think this is enough. We will progress. We'll fix the whatever right now we have, and then we'll progress. And once we have our TeachMate and StudentMate deployed in some way, then we will start making these changes.
Yeah. I think it's better. Let's first get the basic flow working, and then we can always iterate quickly.
Okay.
Super. Anupama ji, Karni ji, Pratibha ji, anything else?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. So then shall we end? Om Lokaha Samastaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Lokaha Samastaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Lokaha Samastaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Sarvam Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dhavalji. Thank you, Shravanji. Thank you, Pratibha
Thank
ji.
you.
Ji. Thank you.
Hari Om, everyone.
Hari Om.
Thank you, Gayatri ji. Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari Om, sir.
Hari Om ji. Hari Om.